JCL, what's it been like this week? Coming off a couple of losses, but looks like you're in the play-in. And I suppose how's the momentum and the attitude within the group this week?
It's a weird one, right? I guess the way the NBL is every year, it gets weird at this time of year with so many teams fighting for whatever spot until we're going to come down to the last game, as it always does. So the weekend wasn't ideal, and more specifically probably the Friday night game for me. That was just a disappointing way to finish off at home the regular season, with the idea we're still hoping to come back for semi-finals and finals, but just the energy we played with wasn't good. And then probably the start of the Southeast, same thing. That first half was off the back of the Brisbane game, was a similar kind of vibe for me. The second half showed kind of what we are capable of, just how we turned that into 40 minutes. And it gets no easier. You go to Perth with the idea of how do we put together 40 minutes and try and get a win as we go into the playoffs, and it's really do or die.
A lot of the year's been about weathering the storm. You've had injuries, you've had suspensions, that kind of thing, and you've done that to this point. Does that give you confidence at this stage of the year when you're sitting sick, you need to finish, you hope to finish off with a win on the road and get into the finals? Do you feel like you can flip that switch?
Yeah, we've definitely gone through a lot as a group to get to this point. Ideally, we win the last two games on the weekend and you roll in with this really positive momentum, and we kind of had a bit of that going on through January. Not ideal that we lost two games, but for me it does. We've got an air of resilience with our group where when we do get it right, we really do get it right. It's really positive and good. So we've had two good days of practice leading into this flight today, and I'm just looking forward to seeing our group bounces back, because we have bounced back pretty well in the past.
No Jarrell, it's disruptive again. I mean, it's pretty important, and that provides a lot for you.
Yeah, I think you saw on the weekend, right? Not having Jarrell for those two games. And for me, he's just another piece for us who plays the right way, really unselfish, moves the ball, has the ability to make threes, big body, especially when we can go to sometimes Jarrell even at the 5. On Sunday, we had both bigs in foul trouble. It would have been a great chance for Jarrell to be at the 5. But for me, who's been around a long time, I also look at the bigger picture and say, well, if we can't get through this game without Jarrell, we need him next week more than we probably need him tomorrow night. And so I don't know what the physio and where he's at with everything, but if there's an air of when do we need him most, we really need him next week with whoever we play. So I'm hoping that's more why he's not on this trip.
How much do you enjoy the challenge, whether it's 1 minute or 5 minutes, 20 minutes of running around chasing Bryce Cotton?
Yeah, Bryce is elite. I've been in the league since he came along, obviously. From memory, I was his first ever game in the NBL when we played him with Sydney, and he was very, very good that night. So it's never changed. It's playing Perth in Perth as always for my 15 years has been one of your toughest challenges, and so to get that before playoffs is also a really good thing for our group. And for me, it's not even just Bryce, it's their whole group, right? They're very deep. There's so many things you go about. Do you let Bryce try and have 40 and stop the others, and does that result in a win? Do you let the others go off and try and stop Bryce? And so there's multiple different ways you can play it, and for us it's just more about what we do. I think that's where I've got to with us. It's what Adelaide 36ers show up and how we bond as a group on the court in that game, and that's really what the most important thing is.